Gotta watch the camber on some of these roads, they're pretty bad. Okay, well, I've been asked to do a bit of a walk around on this machine, so I thought I'd just talk about some of the things I've done to it. We'll probably start at the front. I fitted the XL rims. These are the front's the same size as standard, but the rear is a 2.5 by 18, so that I can put the tubeless, so I can run them tubeless, but also put the Tubliss system inside them. So you can see this is the two air holes. One's for the inner tube, high pressure, the red one, and the other one's for the standard tyre. Few stickers. I've got the Yamaha OEM radiator protector, and I did that even though Yamaha's charging a fortune for their accessories. That's actually the best one I've seen. Gives full breadth of the radiator open. Some of the others start to put the frame in front of some of the radiator, which reduces its capacity. I've got the Yamaha LED indicators, aftermarket mirrors, of course. These are really nice mirrors. They're a little bit heavy though, especially this piece here. I was thinking maybe replacing them with something carbon fibre or whatever. I've got the hand warmers. I've got the phone mount, which is just the quad lock. If I can just get to that. Here we go. I've replaced the standard cigarette lighter type power adapter for a dual USB on this side and another one on the other side. These are nice little cables you can get. Seem to be really good, and they let you know when they got power. And they put a nice little rubber seal on here too, which sort of helps. I've got the T7 Rally windscreen adjusters for the height adjuster. As it turns out, I don't tend to use it very much, but if I ever did a really long run, I probably would use it. Because for me, my helmet gets the buffeting just at chin level. I don't get it any higher, so I barely notice, except for maybe a little bit of wind noise around the chin. I'm running obviously Shinko fatty front tyre, and on the rear is the Motoz Tractionator Desert HT. Very, very happy with this arrangement. The original front tyre that I was running on this was the match for the Desert, and it was always a little bit squirrely at certain lean angles, so this tyre is a big improvement. Very, very rock solid on the gravel and dirt. can't talk more highly enough of that. I've got the Adventure Spec bash plate, which is a nice bash plate, looks good, but it is missing a really good support right here under the back that some of the more recent ones have got. So you really want to start to look for a bash plate that's got more reinforcing. I am considering maybe making a bracket for it to fit down the back there. Suspension wise, I've got the HyperPro progressive front springs in it at the moment. I do need to put another spacer in just to get my preloads that are set up just spot on. I'm waiting on those. I might even do something with the fork oil yet, just flush it all out and put something a little better in there. What else have we got? We've got the rear suspension is the Ohlins shock arrangement for this. It's just, it doesn't have any more travel than standard. I decided, even though I'm a very tall guy, long legs anyway, I didn't want it to be any taller. I can easily dab my feet down in any kind of tricky stuff, and I decided I'd rather be able to do that than to have another inch of travel. Oh yeah, on the front guard I've got the Pyramid guard extender, and it does tend to help. It helps to reduce some of the mullock that gets up here. Before I put this on, it would get right up even onto the bottom of the radiator. Now it tends to stay down here. I get a little bit on the pipe just there, but it's not too bad. I got the what are they? GB Racing guards. These are really tough. These aren't just nylon, there's something about them. They're really strong. But it'd be nice to have a matching one for the water pump as well. I've got the T7 Rally lowered pegs. Again, for my long legs, it suits me a lot better. They're quite heavy though. I'd love to have those in titanium, but I haven't seen anything yet that offers that. They're a 35mm lower peg, I believe, and 15 back, something like that. I've got the rally seat, B&B rear rack, which is absolutely fantastic. Weighs 1.1 kilos, probably a little bit more with these handrails, but not much. It's very light and super strong because it's got a very strong steel piece that mounts directly to the frame underneath the plastics. On the brakes, I'm very pleased with the brakes. The front brake has a really nice modulation. I wouldn't listen to anybody who says, oh gee, they need more power on the brakes, because you don't, because you can overpower the, well, especially off-road tyres, I suppose, but you can overpower those tyres on the bitumen, no problem at all. But you've got a great feel. So I did a ride around Christmas time with my brother. We were doing some relatively steep, rocky sort of descents, and it was then I really noticed just how much feel I had on that front brake. I wouldn't want to lose it, so I haven't touched anything on the front brakes yet. On the rear, it's a little bit light. It's power, you could do it just a little bit more. I did change to double H pads on the rear, but that didn't make much difference. I think if I want to have a big difference on the rear, I'd have to change the rotor to a cheap Chinese rotor, which tend to have more carbon, I think, and you get a lot more bite. I've got the B&B rear tail tidy. It's a really nice piece of gear, very solid. The only criticism I've got is it could extend just a little bit further. It's still kicking up a little bit of mullock on a greasy muddy day, and so I could extend this out just a little bit with the plate, just to make it so that, and put perhaps a reflector on it or something, just to take that last inch and stop the stuff from kicking up. Other things I've done, let's have a look under the seat. I've got a LiPo battery. Don't worry about that, that's just some wiring ready for the headlight, for the spotlight. It's not in play yet, it's not live. I'm also playing around with a new intake, and just today I've been running this with the pre-filter. It's not even going to come off now. That's well and truly on there. Thought I was going to take that off for the camera, but it's got a WMR foam air filter underneath this cover. My son made this cover using a 3D printing machine, and it's got a snorkel on it, just a short one, and that stops water from running down into the hole, but also allows to fit a pre-filter, and this is the one that Unifilter have been spruiking for the standard snorkel, and it's a bit of a stretch to fit, but it does fit. Unfortunately, with the pre-filters, it starts creating more flow resistance, and that's what gives the snatchiness just off zero throttle. Just as you're putting a bit of throttle on, it gets a little bit hesitant. If I don't have that pre-filter on, it's buttery smooth. So what I'm looking to do is put a bigger filter on here, bigger than this one even, maybe a 4-inch diameter, and just squeeze it down to this thing here. You can see how big that is. It's really large intake. Yeah, what else? I've got little shorties, and this one here, this is the type that I really like. My head unit's just talking to me. These little shorties have got a twirling adjuster which gives you a more progressive control. Unfortunately, its matching partner didn't fit this side, didn't fit the clutch side, so I've jammed on here an old MT-09 one, which is just a 6-position one, which doesn't give you quite so much precision as to where you set your levers, but it's not too bad. I've got a Googlertech fuel filter in here. It's a bit awkward because it's only just big enough to let the nozzle through now, with that mouth to the filter in there, but I think I trust the fact that it's going to do the job, keep all the particles out of the standard fuel filter and injector. And a chain guide, I got that one. It's another standard Yamaha OEM one, sorry, accessory one. I'm not sure it's needed, but I've got it just in case. And so there she is. Let's put this back on, and it does go on, and it does. You wouldn't think it would clear this filter, but that filter's a little flexible, so it helps anyway to help get it on. It doesn't cause any drama getting the seat on. It goes on fairly easily. Not exactly the nicest of days, but gee, it's been good riding though. And there we go.